Guess who's back? I'm Carson Field, he's Ethan Schmidt, and this is Devils in Detail. Football may have been on its bye week, but we still have a full slate of topics to cover this week.
Yes, sir, we do. All of the fall sports are in full swing. ASU volleyball is in the heart of Pac-12 play. Basketball is right around the corner, and so much more. But first, Carson, why don't you get us started on the volleyball court?
Thanks, Ethan. I am now joined by volleyball reporter James Malamis to talk about the latest in Sun Devil volleyball. James, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, anytime, man. The Sun Devils entered the weekend in the top 25 for the first time since 2015, but the Sun Devils lost both of their matches to the LA schools. Do you think the ranking may have actually negatively affected their play?
I don't think it negatively affected their play. I think they played really hard both games. The game against UCLA, they did get swept. They struggled a little bit. But the game against USC, they were actually down 2-1. They battled back to tie it, make it go to 5 sets. In the 5th set, they looked a little tired and just defeated, and so they couldn't pull it out.
Despite the losses, James, this year has already been much better than last year when they didn't win a conference game in the entire conference season. They're already 4-4. What do you think's been the biggest difference from this year's team from last year's team?
Yeah, they definitely lost a lot of talent in Aluma Carr and Hallie Harker. They did gain talent from Elise Ford. She came over from USC. Claire Kavinsky came over from Grand Canyon University. But the big thing is that their coach, Sanya Tomasevich, is here the entire season. Last year she had a baby. She was gone for maternity leave. This year she came back. She's changing up the game plan. They're running a 6-2 now where the setter comes from the back row, so they have 3 attackers at the whole time. She changed it, so Nicole Peterson is now attacking from the outside. She's never done that in her career, but she's really thriving at that position. And Sanya's done some crazy things that's really helped this team so far this year.
Looking ahead, what do you think the team still needs to improve upon going into the Colorado game and for them to get back on track?
They definitely need to improve their middle play a little bit. Carmen Unzwe, Megan Beatty, they've been playing really well. It's just sometimes they disappear during the game. If they can really get them involved more, give them more swings during the game, I think it could really positively affect this team.
Great stuff, James. Now we send it to Ethan with Athlete of the Week.
Our Devils in Detail Athlete of the Week is Johnny Walker. The true sophomore netted both of ASU's goals on Friday night against top-ranked Ohio State. It gave him an 8-game goal streak dating back to last season. Now, despite the streak ending in ASU's shutout loss on Saturday night, 8 straight games with a goal is the most in program history. In that span, Walker finished with 12 total goals and added 2 assists. He's off to a hot start this season and continues to establish himself as a leader for Sun Devil hockey. And just in case you missed the weekend slate, here's the recap as the Sun Devils face number 1 Ohio State. Sun Devil hockey hosted the number 1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes for a 2-game series. In a competitive and physical game 1, Ohio State found the back of the net first on a snipe from senior forward Freddie Girard. However, Arizona State continued to fight. The Sun Devils began the second period on the power play and capitalized with a deflection by sophomore Johnny Walker. But penalties were ASU's downfall as it gave Ohio State 5 power play opportunities and the Buckeyes converted on 2 of them. Dakota Joshua on the first and then Carson Mayer just over 2 minutes later. But again, the Sun Devils showed resilience. Johnny Walker earned himself another tip-in goal with just 2 seconds left in the second period to cut the deficit to 1. After a scoreless third period, the Ohio State lead was insurmountable. The Buckeyes took Friday's game 3-2.
I think what I'm most proud of is how upset our guys are right now. We believe we can beat anybody, and they expect to win every night. And I think that's the difference in this team. It stings because we think we can win anytime we take the ice.
Walker's 2 goals on the night continued his goal streak to 8 games.
There's no more moral wins. We expect to beat the number 1 team in the country, which I think is a tribute to where this program is and how far it's come.
On Saturday, the pace of the game was very similar. Both teams grinded it out, but Ohio State broke the ice again on a goal from Ronnie Hine off a feed from Tanner Lazinski with just over a minute left in the second period. Then, in the third period, Jacob Stridesberg was called for tripping, and the NCAA's active leading scorer, Mason Yops, padded the lead with a penalty shot score. ASU desperately tried to get on the board, but the Buckeyes sealed Game 2 with an empty net goal to win 3-0.
Our takeaways just from our team is we knew this process wasn't going to be overnight, So for us to come and play the #1 team like we did, I think that speaks volume. I think anyone would be pretty ignorant to not see the strides we've made this quickly and where we're headed.
Now 2-2, the Sun Devils will go on the road for the first time this season, as they have a 2-game series at Alabama Huntsville. Wow, what a competitive series that was. Joining me now to break it all down is ASU hockey reporter Carson Roberts. Now Carson, we saw a series between two very different teams, ASU, a young and developing one, and up against a powerhouse like Ohio State. What were some of your takeaways from the action?
Well, my takeaways from this weekend is that ASU finally showed they can hang with the top-tier teams in the nation. Last year, it'd be a tough Friday night game. It'd probably be, a score around 5-0. But then they would come back in the second game with a new mentality, a new plan, and they would keep it close. This year, they had a legitimate chance to win for both games of the series. And I think that's just a testament to how much this team has grown and how much the new freshman talent has been helping out.
Yes, you got to remember ASU only in their third full Division I season in the NCAA. Now, who stood out to you the most in this tough series for the Sun Devils?
Well, two players stood out for me. First and foremost is goaltender Joey Decord. He kept them in for most of these games. Especially, I thought his performance in the Saturday night game was probably one of the best I've seen. He took on a very dangerous Ohio State attack and only let up one even-strength goal. It was towards the end of the second period. The other two were tacked on through an empty netter and a penalty shot, which you can't really expect a goaltender to stop those all the time. So it's one of those where you can justify it. He finished the weekend with a .928 save percentage, only allowed 5 goals. Performances like that are going to carry this team throughout the season. The other one was Johnny Walker. He netted both of the goals for the Sun Devils this weekend, both those coming in Friday night's 3-2 loss to the Buckeyes. But he's kept up his hot streak. He scored in 3 of 4 games to start this season, scored in 11 of his last 14 towards the end of last season. And he's going to be their source of offense. He's going to be who they lean on to get pucks to the net.
Of course, and Walker, before that shutout loss on Saturday, Walker had an 8-game goal streak. He scored 12 goals and 2 assists in that streak dating back to last season. Now, the Sun Devils take their first road trip of the season to Alabama Huntsville this weekend. What are going to be some keys to the series for ASU as they take on the Chargers?
Well, the keys of the series are we're going to need to see how these freshmen grow. They're going to need to continue to grow as the season goes on because eventually they're going to have the program on their shoulders. One freshman to look out for is Jared Gorley. He's someone who Captain Brinson Pashnuk loves very much. They've been paired up now for the past couple games or so. He's got a lot of maturity for a young defenseman, and he's someone who the team loves and the team can trust.
Great to have you on for the first time, Carson. You could check out all of his content and the rest of our Sun Devil hockey coverage at devilsindetail.com. ASU men's basketball is right around the corner. Bobby Hurley's squad is loaded with talent this upcoming season. Our Richard Girafo was able to catch up with Kimani Lawrence before his season begins as a sophomore.
After a bit of an up-and-down freshman season that saw highly touted recruit Kimani Lawrence have a bout with patella tendonitis and minimal chance to find his rhythm, an off-season of trust building with head coach Bobby Hurley has him primed for a much different sophomore campaign.
Freshman year was tough. I didn't have that much big of a role, but I took what I was given and tried to make the best of it. I'm going to do the same this year. Whatever coach needs me to do, I'm going to do it. And now that he trusts me more, give me a little more freedom on the court to play more of my game. My mobility got a lot better. I had patella tendonitis last year. I got that taken care of, and I definitely worked a lot on my ball handling and shooting. Culture changed here since last year, and winning is the most important thing and making it to the tournament.
Lawrence will have ample opportunity to make his mark in Tempe this season with increased playing time and a team filled with versatility. It's sure to be fun to watch. This has been Devils in Detail Insider. I'm Richard Girafo. Thanks for watching.
Awesome stuff there, Rich. I tell you what, I am so excited for the college basketball season. Well, Arizona State football is fresh off a bye week. The team now sets its focus on Stanford this Thursday. I'm joined now by Sun Devil football reporter Cody Whitehouse. Cody, you ready to talk some football?
I am great to be here as always.
Well, let's jump right into it. Now, Cody, what is your take on the first half of the season And what are your expectations for the second half as the Sun Devils are 3-3?
You know, really through the first half of the season, we don't know what Sun Devil football team is going to show up Saturday night. In this week, it's going to be Thursday night. Week in and week out, we don't know which team. They've been really up and down. You know, a lot of ups like the Michigan State win, a lot of downs like the San Diego State loss. So it's really going to be tough, you know. And expectations leading the second half season, I think we got to see what this Sun Devil football team is going to do on the offensive side of the football. We saw him throw the ball a lot more in the first half of the season. Then Herm Edwards, of course, stepped in and kind of wants to run the ball a little bit more. So we're going to see, you know, really if that offense can progress and we can see rushing performances like we saw out of Eno Benjamin against Oregon State where he set the Sun Devil rushing record, or else if we're going to see him, you know, like some of his lesser games he had in the beginning part of the season.
Of course, well, we mentioned it already. Up next is a big Pac-12 bout this Thursday night on ESPN against the Stanford Cardinal. So what are some players that the Cardinal are going to bring that are going to be a threat to this ASU defense?
It's really going to start with quarterback KJ Costello. You know, they've really had their MO be the run game in the previous years past. This year it's more been KJ Costello taking that leap, taking that step. 6 games already through the season. He's already surpassed his yardage mark from last season. He's really taken a big step up. And Bryce Love, you know, he's had some hamstring issues. He's really been inconsistent. He didn't play last week, of course, in that loss against Utah. So it's been a big bye week for them. He is projected to play in that game. And on the receiving end, it's going to be J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. He's been absolutely huge for them, coming up huge in that San Diego State game, over 200 yards receiving. So it's really going to be those 3 key players on the offensive side of the ball that are going to do, you know, big things for the Stanford Cardinal.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Cody. Bryce Love expected to be healthy and play against the Sun Devils. Started the season as a Heisman frontrunner, but has fallen off through the first half of the season. So, Cody, if you're Herm Edwards, what is the game plan for this game, and what does ASU have to do to succeed?
You know what, Herm Edwards always talks about playing to win the game. I really feel like he plays more not to lose the game. He's going to turn around, hand the ball off to Eno Benjamin, and hopefully the defense holds. You know, he wants to keep the other team's offense off the field, really, so we're not going to see a lot of Bryce Love. He doesn't want to see KJ Costello. He doesn't want to see J.J. Arcega-Whiteside on the field. He wants to see Manny Wilkins, Eno Benjamin running the ball up the middle, and really that defense not on the field a whole lot.
Yeah, Herm Edwards addressed the time of possession, and something the Sun Devils definitely need to improve on. Well, thanks for coming on, Cody.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate all your hard work, and you can check out the rest of our ASU football coverage at devilsindetail.com.
Before we get to pitchforks in the pros, what if I told you ASU is now a softball school? Last year, the Sun Devils were one of the best teams in college softball and made their first Women's College World Series since 2013. While ASU was the first team eliminated in Oklahoma City, it will be back with a vengeance in the spring. Before that, however, the Sun Devils have a slew of exhibition games against local junior colleges. So far, the Sun Devils are 2-0 in their fall schedule with wins against Central Arizona College and Pima Community College. ASU also has 4 more games on its fall schedule, the next being on October 25th against Yavapai College at Farrington Stadium in Tempe. And now we move on to former Sun Devils playing in the pros, as Brock Osweiler had himself a game on Sunday. Although he threw 2 picks, the Dolphins quarterback threw for 380 yards and 3 touchdowns in Miami's overtime win over the Chicago Bears. This was Osweiler's first start of the season, and he saw the field because of an injury to Miami's usual quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. Osweiler has played in the NFL since 2012 and has been all around the league. In his career, he has thrown 35 touchdowns and 29 interceptions.
Well, that's it for this week's show. You can always find the latest content for ASU Sports at devilsindetail.com, and you can find us on Twitter at devils_detail. Thanks for watching. Again, he's Carson Field. I'm Ethan Schmidt, and we'll see you next week.